Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Dr. Alex Orton, and I am one of the owners and founders of Haven in Chicago. And we are going to be talking about how to quickly and permanently identify the foods that are causing you problems without long elimination diets or expensive food tests that don't actually work. Okay, so let's hop right in. Disclaimer, you are not going to find out what foods are problematic for you today. Consider this as just an opportunity. It's an open door. Maybe you found us because you've been struggling with your digestive system, you're not sure what you should be eating, you're confused, you're at a dead end, and maybe something about this presentation resonates with you. You may think, maybe this makes sense, maybe I can do this, okay? Once you believe that this is possible, you're already on the path to healing. So consider this an open door and opportunity. My goal today is to show you that when you identify and eliminate the real problem foods from your diet, your digestion and overall health can completely transform. Okay? So make a commitment to yourself. If you're struggling with digestive issues or confused about what you should eat, and this message resonates with you, you will prioritize your own health and schedule a free consultation call with us. All right? So this is why I believe in this. This is me before this method, before I know what I know today. All my life I struggled with digestive issues. I remember taking this photo. I was on a bus, felt terrible. I was on a trip, big bags under my eyes. I was underweight, super bloated, and anxious because I didn't know what to do. And now today, I rarely experience symptoms. I'm living the life I truly want to live, and I'm empowered to heal myself no matter what I experience because I have the tools and the knowledge of how to do that, right? My mom has healed from epilepsy and debilitating digestive pain, and she's lost 30 pounds doing the method that I'm going to articulate today. No seizures or GI issues the past 6 years. And countless patients are healing in my office every single day. So it's worked for me, it's worked for my family, and it's working for my patients every single day. A little bio about myself. I'm a doctor of naturopathic medicine. I was the valedictorian of my class at National University of Health Sciences, one of the owners and founders of Haven, and I've undergone numerous trainings in homeopathy, somatic experiencing, which is a technique for overcoming PTSD, yoga, counseling, hydrotherapy, and nutrition. And this is a serious headshot taken by my friend Dan Winters. He's also taken headshots for a couple other people you might know. Recognize any of these guys? Wow. Okay, so the 3 secrets for identifying problem foods are secret number 1, how to cut through conflicting information and instantly know whether a dietary approach is right for you or not. Secret number 2, how to find the real dietary problem that modern food tests and elimination diets miss with one easy step that you'll never need to repeat again. And secret number 3, how to make absolutely delicious meals and go out to eat while still avoiding foods that cause problems for you. So secret number 1, how do you cut through all the conflicting information instantly to know what's right for you? Ever feel like this guy? Confused by all the conflicting information, all the different diets that are completely hypocritical. Everyone's saying this is the best diet for everyone. But really, how do we choose which one's right for us? So there's 3 myths about diet, and we're going to talk about each one of these, okay? The first myth is that one diet is right for everyone, right? Some people say everyone should eat like a caveman, right? Just like our ancestor did. This is what the paleo movement oftentimes says. Some people say, well, everyone should eat vegan. We were all meant to eat plants and no one should eat animals. They're toxic and everyone can survive on plants. Really, our ancestors evolved in completely different ecological niches from the Arctic to the tropics, and people all over the world, if they ate the food that was traditional to them, experienced wonderful, long-lasting health. And each of these groups from all these places, the Inuits, Aboriginals, Costa Ricans, Italians, Okinawans, Maasai, Africans, all have been studied for longevity and have incredible health eating a huge variety of different diets. Myth number 2, certain foods are good or bad for everyone, right? There's only one exception to this myth, and that's processed foods, right? Bad for everyone. But what 2 foods does everyone think are bad for everyone? Gluten and dairy, right? Gluten is usually not the problem. We evolved eating gluten. These are paintings of traditional flour mills that were used to make bread. And even though dairy is a common problem, it's not for everybody. And there's people who completely thrive on dairy. In fact, raw dairy has some of the highest nutrients available, and we recommend it to our patients who don't have dairy problems. So there's conflicting information everywhere about what's good and bad for everyone, and it's just a myth. Myth 3, specific diseases should be treated with specific diets, right? Ever seen cookbooks like this? Autoimmune paleo, candida, anti-inflammatory cookbook, IBS cookbook, low FODMAP cookbook, SIBO cookbook, all different types of cookbook, right? If these worked, then we wouldn't have any of these diseases. So that's a myth. So develop your nutritional spidey sense to understand what is the right approach for you. The right dietary approach is sustainable and practical. It's nutritious and delicious. It's highly individualized for you, not for a disease and not for just everyone. And it actually works, right? So secret number 2, how to find the real dietary problem that modern food test and elimination diets miss with one easy step that you will never need to repeat again. We have a saying in naturopathic medicine, stop swatting at flies and take out the trash. Well, what does that mean? Swatting at flies are treating symptoms, right? So there's 2 modern approaches to identify dietary problems. The first option is food allergy or sensitivity tests. These are essentially measuring the immune reaction to different foods by measuring the antibodies or the white blood cells in your bloodstream. The problem is that the results are confusing. There's mild, moderate, and severe reactions, sometimes on a numerical scale. And the results are, if you do this testing every 6 months, the results are constantly changing. So you're never really getting a clear picture. And option 2 is to do an elimination diet where you just basically cut out all the foods that cause most people problems. Great example of this is Whole30. The problem is that this just takes so much time to cut out all these foods and then reintroduce them one by one. And we have to ask ourselves, why is the immune system reacting to these foods in the first place? These are foods that we evolved eating. So why are people having insane reactions to traditional foods? The fact is that 80% of the immune system is in the digestive tract. The small intestine is 20 plus feet long, and it has these little microvilli that cover the surface like little hairs. And then each one of these little hairs is covered by even smaller hairs called microvilli. These are villi and these are microvilli. So the surface area is so big it covers the size of a tennis court. Our body's immune system has to survey that whole area to make sure that nothing bad is getting into the system, right? So most of our immune system is located in our gut to survey that area. So what happens is if we have poor digestion, that creates toxemia in our bodies, toxicity building up, which creates immune reactions because the immune system gets sensitive and overreacts, right? So in other words, food allergies and sensitivities are symptoms. They're not the cause. What we need to do is we need to take out the trash. We need to treat the root cause. So we want to decrease inflammation, detoxify the body, calm the immune system, prevent food sensitivities and allergies. What do we have to do? We have to heal the hole in the middle, right? We have to heal the gut. It all starts with proper digestion so that we're not getting toxemia that's leading to immune reactions. So what then is the number 1 dietary problem preventing the gut from healing? Food intolerances. What's a food intolerance? Food intolerances are genetic enzyme deficiencies that are passed down from our ancestors. Remember, we all evolved in different ecological niches from the Arctic to the equator. And people from the tropical zones to the Arctic regions were healthy if they ate traditional food off the land, but they ate completely different diets, right? So we didn't evolve with a buffet. We evolved in certain ecological niches that were developed over the course of time. So how are we supposed to find out our genetics, right? There's genetic testing for us to figure out our ancestry. So how are we supposed to figure out our food intolerance genetics? The only way to truly identify what your food intolerances are is to do a food intolerance evaluation, and we do it with all of our patients. So why does our food intolerance evaluation blow other methods completely out of the water? 3 reasons. It's time tested, It's simple and straightforward, and it leads to incredible results, and that's the most important thing. So, number one, it's time tested. Dr. Otis Carroll developed food intolerance evaluations in the early 1900s. He was trained by Dr. Henry Lindlar, who's the father of naturopathic medicine in this country. And Dr. Henry Lindlar developed 3 principles of naturopathic medicine. Step 1, detoxify the body. Step 2, improve nutrition. And step 3, stimulate self-healing. This method's amazing, and this is exactly what we do in our office, still to this day, time-tested method that works. But there's only one problem. Despite following the principles he learned, Dr. Carroll was unable to help his chronically ill son. So back in the early 1900s, most naturopathic doctors thought that everyone should eat vegetarian, right? Because that was the kind of norm in the fad at that time. But what do we know about that? It's a myth, right? One diet is not right for everyone. So what Dr. Carroll did is he sought out Dr. Albert Abrams, who is a physiologist at the University of Stanford University, who was developing some new cutting-edge evaluation techniques at the time. And remember that Dr. Carroll was trained in classic naturopathic medicine, so he knew that poor digestion leads to toxemia, which leads to immune reactions. So he knew that the problem must be coming in the digestion, or else why would his son be chronically ill? It must be coming from the top. So we have to heal the hole in the middle, right? He knew that he had to figure out what was the dietary issue. So using Abrams' work, Carroll devised a method for assessing foods which are not well digested or metabolized in a particular body, leading to toxemia. And what he discovered is that his son was intolerant to fruit, which he always thought was a perfect and healing food for anyone, right? Fruit intolerant. Crazy. What do we know? Certain foods are not good or bad for everyone. Everyone has foods that are good and bad for them as an individual, right? It's a myth that there's a certain food that's good for everyone. Dr. Carroll went on to become one of the most significant naturopathic physicians of the entire century, and he is famous in our community for developing this method. So what Dr. Carroll did is he taught Dr. Harold Dick, who is the next predecessor after him, and Dr. Harold Dick, or the successor after him, and then Dr. Harold Dick taught his daughter, Dr. Letitia Dick, and Dr. Jared Zeth, and then they taught everyone else, including me. Dr. Tish says the food intolerance evaluation is the window to the individual expression of healing. Dr. Otis G. Carroll began this journey nearly 100 years ago. Dr. Harold Dick devoted his life so this path would continue. It is our goal now to live this journey and pass this incredible evaluation on to future generations to ensure the health of the people of this wonderful world. Right? Incredible. So it's time tested. Number 2, it's simple and straightforward. The food intolerance evaluation identifies enzyme deficiencies for the following: food groups, food additives, and food combinations. So what are the top 5 food groups that we find all the time in our patients? Fruit, potato, egg, meat, and dairy. 99% of the population is intolerant to one of these 5 foods, right? Maybe that comes as a surprise, because these modern dietary fads don't cut out some of the major food intolerances. And they don't address additives, which are hidden intolerances. There's many unknown food processing methods that occur, like lactoferrin being sprayed on pre-washed leafy greens, like those boxes of spinach you get at Whole Foods. Lactoferrin comes from dairy. Many food additives, even in health products, come from intolerances like xanthan gum, which comes from potato. Even high-quality supplements that contain things like vitamin E, that comes from fruit typically. So this food intolerance evaluation addresses additives as well that are in your food, so you know what products to buy and supplements to use. And the food intolerance evaluation assesses combinations, right? So there's 4 primary food combinations: fruit and sugar, potato and grain, dairy and grain, and sugar and grain, right? So unlike these confusing food sensitivity and allergy tests, which give you vague scales and are constantly changing, right? Not effective. Food intolerances don't change, giving you definitive answers, so you only have to do it one time and one time only. And because they're inherited, Every single person has at least one food intolerance and one combination intolerance. Every single person. That means you. You have an intolerance and a combination intolerance, and we'll find it, and I promise you it'll make a huge difference in your life. Many people have other food sensitivities like gluten and dairy because they're eating their intolerance or combination every day, right? So they're eating these foods on a poor foundation, and these foods can be hard to digest. But once you eliminate your intolerance and heal your gut, you can reintroduce foods that used to cause you problems. So when you find out your food intolerances, your diet actually becomes less restrictive, less stressful, and more delicious, right? And number 3, most importantly, the food intolerance evaluation produces incredible results. Dr. Jared Zeff, who's been our mentor, who's a practitioner of the food intolerance evaluation for 40 years, he says, I use the Carroll method because I have seen the most clinical success using this, and that experience is reiterated every day in the clinic as many my patients report on the successes they have using this dietary advice, right? And here's some of our patients. Here's Gail. She said, I can't say enough about Dr. Alex, Dr. Colby. After a couple of visits determining my food intolerances, I have never felt better. She received a personal binder, holistic evaluation, nutrition plan, weekly shopping list, meal prep information, etc. She said she highly recommends us. You will absolutely feel better. Here's Bruce. He diagnosed himself with gluten sensitivity, stuck to a gluten-free diet, but still felt crummy. Does it sound like any of us? Right? Maybe it helped a little bit, but it didn't bring us all the way. Once we did food intolerance evaluation, found out that he wasn't intolerant to gluten and that there was other foods that he was intolerant to. And once he cut out that, he said, boy, what a difference. Way more energy and feeling healthy. Total thumbs up. Incredible. Here's our patient, Lori. She grew up never knowing reasons why she was having digestive issues and wanted to get to the bottom of it without taking any medication. She found through us the exact reason for her digestive issues and from the emotional standpoint, what she could do to change in order to stay on track. Such an important thing, not only to have the tools, but then to know how to use them and feel comfortable and confident and empowered, right? She said they provide so much education in terms of food that have secret ingredients, which was shocking, and that she's been accidentally consuming her entire life. So many of us are eating foods that have additives that are causing problems we don't even know about it. Here's our buddy Eric. He said that he's been on antacids for 15 years on them daily, and they were having a toll on his ability to digest foods, get nutrients from his foods, and a toll on his finances as well. He's been 7 months since taking any antacids. Evident from his allergies are improving, his energy's improving, and he said that he now is thankful to live a life not dependent on antacids. Amazing to get off medication that you've been so reliant upon for so long. Tom, Dr. Tom is a chiropractor in Chicago who we treated with his family. He said that he saw us because we resonate with his values. He's personally experienced improvement in digestion, sleep, and more energy throughout his day. And we even did a food intolerance evaluation on his 2-year-old son, which we can do with the food intolerance evaluation. We can do it on infant children who experience digestion improvements after eliminating his intolerance as well. He said it's a very comprehensive process, lots of support. If you're looking for a truly holistic provider that will support you through your healing journey and isn't just going to throw a bunch of supplements at you, Haven is for you. And here's our patient, Joey. He said, Haven is truly an amazing place. Over the past several years, developed gastrointestinal issues that were sporadic and unpredictable. After visiting other doctors and taking various tests, got absolutely nowhere and pretty much accepted his fate. Isn't that a classic story? Going from doctor to doctor, and eventually you just kind of give up because it's like, well, what else am I going to do? What else is out there? After meeting us, decided to take action, work to heal his body. Since he's been on our program, he can happily say he's not had an episode at all of digestive issues, and he feels as though has control of his body and his gut. So he's empowered now that he knows what's happening, and he's healing. Amazing. So what's the last secret? Secret 3. How to make absolutely delicious meals and go out to eat while still avoiding foods that cause problems for you. Ever feel like this guy? Right? Modern food tests and fad diets and elimination diets restrict foods with valuable nutrients. We evolved eating so many of these foods, and they shouldn't be cut out from our diets if we're not intolerant to them because they contain incredible nutrients and they're delicious, right? Ever feel like this? I'm so hungry I don't care. Or this. Or this. Or how about this? Right? When our cells don't get the nutrients they need, our blood sugar goes on a roller coaster. It leads to binging, craving, addictions, crashes, fatigue, hormone problems, all sorts of things. Ever feel like this, right? Eating alone? When we have restrictive diets that are unpractical, it can lead to social isolation, anxiety, depression, and overall frustration and dissatisfaction. We end up not being able to go out to eat, not being able to socialize, being worried about going to parties, what's going to be there, and just straight up eating alone because no one wants to eat the food that we're eating because our diets are so restricted, right? Nutrients should taste good. That's the idea of grandma's chicken soup. It heals the soul, right? All that nourishment, that taste is that nourishment that's healing to you. So your food should taste delicious, and that means that it's nutritious, right? We shouldn't have to restrict ourselves to not eating delicious food. And eating with others is good for the soul, right? So we should be able to eat with others, live the life we want to live, be social, be happy, and be healthy. And we can do that with the food intolerance evaluation. So knowledge is power. When you know your food intolerance, you can quickly identify grocery products that are harmful to you. You know what combinations may harm you when you're preparing meals. You can navigate restaurant menus. You know what alcoholic beverages may be causing you problems in other beverages, and you can even find substitutions for recipes, right? So the right dietary approach, again, is sustainable and practical, nutritious and delicious, highly individualized for you, and it actually works to heal you. So the 3 secrets we covered today. Secret 1, how to cut through that conflicting information and instantly know the dietary approach right for you. Secret 2, how to find the real dietary problem that modern food tests and elimination diets miss with one easy step you'll never repeat again. And secret 3, how to make absolutely delicious meals and go out to eat while still avoiding foods that cause problems for you. So let me ask you a question. Is your head spinning right now? I totally understand. I've thrown a lot of information at you. So take a second to process, but let me say this. We do food intolerance evaluation on all of our patients, okay? The first step to becoming a patient at Haven is to sign up for a free phone consultation, right? If all of our services did was finally give you definitive answers as to what foods are causing you problems, would it be worth it? If it could improve your chronic digestive issues so you don't have to think about them all the time, would it be worth it? If it gave you more energy, balance, and confidence so you can start living the life you want, would it be worth it? And what if it did all of these things for you, right? You may be thinking, yeah, but what if it doesn't work? Yes, but then I would say, but what if it does? What would that mean for you in your life? Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in today. It was a pleasure. I love talking about this stuff. So thanks for hopping on. Take the first step. If this resonated with you, take action. Do something for your health. Get on the path to heal. Sign up for a free phone consultation with us. You won't regret it. You can do so at havenholistichealth.com. Thanks so much, guys. Hope to talk to you soon.